Grease and Grit. The story of a backyard mechanic who changed a town. Introduce Kyle Harper, once a street racer who lost everything in a crash. Now, he lives quietly, running a barebones garage behind his grandfather's old house. The locals think of it as the garage with no name, but some see it as their only hope for repairs they can afford. Black Right Arrow # emotion, lonely but proud. Black Right Arrow # car content. Show rusted tools, oil-stained rags, a half-lifted engine, gritty realism. Black Right Arrow # narration idea. He didn't fix cars to make money. He fixed them because the town had no one else to turn to. A struggling single mom, Rachel, brings in her 2004 Toyota Camry with a ruined water pump. She can't afford dealership prices. Kyle offers to fix it for free, but insists she help. He teaches her about the engine while they work together. Black Right Arrow # educational focus. Diagnosing a bad water pump, sourcing cheap used parts. Black Right Arrow # story element. Rachel begins to open up about her life. Kyle becomes a local hero quietly. Black Right Arrow # quote, I don't just fix cars. I try to fix what breaks along the way. A troubled teen named Mason crashes his dad's old Chevy S10. Afraid to tell anyone, he brings it to Kyle hoping for a miracle. Kyle agrees to help, but only if Mason works on it himself. This begins a mentorship. Black Right Arrow # educational focus. Frame alignment basics, front-end damage, safe welding. Black Right Arrow # emotional beat. Kyle sees himself in the boy, lost, angry, reckless. Black Right Arrow # moral arc. Trust is built through grease and late-night coffee. An elderly man tows in his 1968 Mustang Fastback, a car he's had since Vietnam. It's been dead in his garage for 20 years. He wants it running before he dies. Kyle accepts the challenge. Black Right Arrow # educational focus. Diagnosing old ignition systems, fuel lines, carb rebuild. Black Right Arrow # emotional pull. This is more than a car, it's a memory. A time machine. Black Right Arrow # quote. Some engines just need a reason to turn over again. One day, Mason stumbles upon an old photo of Kyle in full race gear beside a totaled race car. The story comes out. Kyle once had it all but lost control, literally and figuratively. A crash ended his career, and his best friend's life. Black Right Arrow # flashback-style storytelling, old footage, samba music, journal entries. Black Right Arrow # emotional tie-in. Kyle repairs cars as penance, for what he broke and what he couldn't fix. Word spreads about Kyle's garage. People start donating parts, time, and tools. It becomes a community space. Teens learn car repair. Seniors get mobility back. Rachel starts bringing donuts for volunteers. Black Right Arrow # educational focus. Teaching people how to check oil, change brake pads. Black Right Arrow # realistic storytelling. Community through grease-stained hands. Kyle gets diagnosed with a heart condition. He begins preparing to hand the garage over to Mason, who has now grown into a confident young man. The Mustang is gifted to Kyle by the old man before he passes away. Black Right Arrow # final emotional punch. Kyle drives the restored Mustang at sunset. Black Right Arrow # narration idea. He couldn't go back and fix his past, but he built a future for others, one bolt at a time. Years later, the garage is now officially named Harper's Hands. A plaque reads, built not for profit, but for people. Black Right Arrow # closing message. Show shots of the town. Cars running again. Mason teaching new kids. Black Right Arrow # call to action. You don't need a fancy shop or big budget. Just heart, a wrench, and the will to care.